I am this. So I really had to learn to embrace it because there was like a imposter syndrome, being that I'm an academic. I'm at the University of Georgia, but I'm from the east side of Buffalo, New York in a real way. I'm a New Yorker. I'm a New York kid. And it's like, how do these two things coexist? How do we make it work? And so Coach T, that's where we at with it. Keaka, Keaka, Keaka. Use your phonetics. Sound it out, Keaka.
This is what happens. The academics always being professors. So
can't help it.
That's what this is. Hi, Coach T.
Peace and blessings. What's good, Veronica?
Oh, wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your support of Black Children's Book Week. And I was like, interesting name because I've never seen the word before. So, and then I read the synopsis. So you learned something new just from your title. So before we keep going, because people may not even know what we're talking about yet. So we're here with Coach T. My name is Veronica.
You're doing an amazing job
with
everything.
You.
I love the name Box Out. That's like a basketball concept. And
so we're just going to start with, who are you first before we get to know all about your book? Who are you and what is your background?
Really, I'm just a storyteller, like I've said. I'm a teacher. To be honest with you, that's the path I've always been on. When I look back at my life, I always had this thing with mentoring and working with the youth and working with my peers. You said you feel like people that write books, that release books independently are like activists. I resonated with that so much. Like, oh man, they hit me with the TLC deal. I'm not getting anything for this. This is straight this is all for the love right here. Like,
did you have great mentors growing up? Like, did someone inspire you? Or
if you look back on this wall behind me, I got my family up. It was really just us coming up together. It was like a village. We're heart warriors. And most of my good influences, to be honest with you, a lot of our influences come from the things that we're watching, the things that we're consuming on TV and our phones and stuff like that. So I grew up idolizing Fresh Prince and Martin and Goku from Dragon Ball Z and Arnold from Hey Arnold. It was everything to me. I learned how to, become myself through these characters and through these people.
So tell them just what motivated you to write your children's book, and what was your intention behind publishing it?
This is something that really I experienced when I was like 2 or 3 years old. I really was scared of my shadow as a kid. I wrote Keaka in 2020. The pandemic had just happened, but it became like a story in my mind, like something that I would be able to share with people. But I didn't finish writing the story until this past fall. I'm gonna put it out. I'm gonna just try it. So it was like a hunt.
Give them a quick synopsis or a thorough synopsis. It doesn't have to be super quick.
Keaka is really like a children's allegory on overcoming your fears. I call it the greatest story ever told. It's not about my book specifically. The story that I'm telling with Keaka is the greatest story ever told. The hero's journey, I guess the turmoil that comes with discovering something new, overcoming it, becoming something new. Butterfly coming out of the cocoon. It's about fear, it's about family, it's about anxiety. And I really love to inspire people and be inspired by things. I've realized that's me.
That's you.
Right. It's crazy. My name on the book. Man.
Right.
But, here we are, and Lil T came to life as almost like a metaphor for my own self. I wrote this book in order to overcome an anxiety and fear that I personally hold. It's been really powerful experience so far.
That's wonderful. Tell us about the title Keaka. Like, when did you first hear the name, the word Keaka, and what does it mean?
So it means person of shadows, shadow friend, shadow person in a Hawaiian dialect. To pronounce the word, you have to really speak phonetically. And I said, I got to go with that. People aren't going to be able to pronounce it, but it's a cool looking word, the way it spells out. And when you do figure out how to finally say it, it's fun to say.
Keaka.
The kids really like saying it.
I'm sure they do.
They love saying it. It's a children's allegory, which means it's a story with like a greater meaning. And he's discovering the shadow for the first time, and he's dealing with the angst, the fear of something new. So he goes to his mom, and she explains to him what it is. That moment of revelation, that moment of understanding happens. You kind of see it in the illustration, embraces the shadow, and all of a sudden, this thing he's running from throughout the whole story, he's now celebrating with in his own room, in his own space.
Now, what's the age range? What's the target age range for your book?
It's a nighttime bedtime story, really from preschool to like third grade, second or third grade, the toddlers little kids. I've had friends that have ordered the book and they say they're reading to their babies every night. It's their favorite story because it's real bright and colorful. But the story itself, it resonates with anybody.
We typically write books with children in mind, but then the adults have this like response that you're not always expecting. It has been the response thus far from children and adults.
It's the best feeling in the world. I've grown with this book. Like, I put it out at the beginning of the year. I've learned more about myself, and this time just thinking about who little T is in the book. I had a conversation with my grandmother for almost 2 hours. And she was just talking to me about her fears as a little girl. I'm learning stuff about my family just in talking about my book. I got these family lessons, these history lessons, which help me better understand myself. It's a universal thing. Everybody has fears. Nobody's immune to it.
So for your book to have you have these like new, kind of like a new relationship, new conversations with people who helped raise you, that has to be an amazing feeling.
What we do as adults, I definitely wanted to highlight in the book as well with little T running from his shadow. He does all the things that he would usually do, the things that he find comfort in, playing on the monkey bars. Those are just examples or metaphors for the things that adults do to comfort themselves when they don't want to do something that discomforts them. We go and do the thing that we like to do, even if it's not the thing that we should do. As far as the kids are concerned, I made sure it was a rhyming book. I'm a hip hop kid. Listening to DMX and like 50 Cent and like, Tupac. And Tupac, ironically, he wrote poetry.
Right.
I loved Dr. Seuss growing up. And, all of his books rhyme for the most part, I believe. And those pre-literacy skills are strengthened when you have a rhyming book for kids to look at. So that would be another thing that I would, tell anybody that's listening. You're thinking about, purchasing the book. Helps kids kind of find that rhythm in their speech and, sounding out words. And it's just more fun to read when it rhymes as well. I was in the barber shop maybe a month ago, getting a shape up, doing adult stuff. And there was a dad in there, and he was doing his daughter's hair. She had 2 older brothers with her. One was like maybe 7, the other was like maybe 9. It just reminded me of my brothers and I. They seen my book. And so they took it out and they were looking at it, and they all were looking at the book and was, fixated with the book. So I did something right, for sure. I did a little workshop, almost like a focus group to see how the book would be received. I read the book and I had them do the activity, and I had some of my classmates in tears. Really a powerful thing, and I knew I was on the right track. I knew the book was worth whatever effort I was putting into to get it out.
Choose one page from your children's book to read or highlight, and then tell us why you're choosing this page.
I want to show people there. I don't know. That's probably about the 7th or 8th page. And it says, "My son, what do you want me to do? You cannot run from it, T, because that it is you." It's actually my mother and myself. You can see them through the lens of the phone there. And I will be remiss if I finished this interview or did the interview without acknowledging my mother. Her name is Amina. The name of my company is Eldest Son of Amina. And her name means righteousness. It means devoted. It means faithful. It means truth teller. I trusted her word, and I trusted her wisdom, and I trusted her heart. I trusted that she had my best interest at heart. One of the things that she always says is, you got to take you with you no matter where you go. I think she got it from my grandmother. I think she's plagiarized or whatever, but I think it directly relates to your shadow. You always got to take your shadow with you, whatever it is that you may be dealing with or that you're running from, feeling like, you don't want to take responsibility or accountability for. The sooner you take that accountability, the sooner you can live into the fullest. So that's what I wanted to highlight. We all live through our phones. Being in the lens of the cell phone kind of, to me, is like a symbolic.
I have a follow-up question. I know you're prepared, but I might so does the title Keaka show up anywhere inside the book?
Not at all. We really just, I declared 2023 the year of the shadow. Personally, that's what I'm pushing for. That's kind of my thing for the year.
What does that
I really see the theme in so many of our favorite movies. The Creed movie. The villain pretty much in Star Wars and Lion King, the villain usually represents like a shadow figure. They're pretty much the exact opposite of the main character. 2023 is the year where we reconcile that rival that we have, that projection that we're putting on an enemy. We're moving out of the pandemic. moving out of this time where we were stuck in the house, having to deal with our shadow, have to deal with our demons. So 2023 is the year we rejoice. We acknowledge both sides of ourselves. The year 2023 is the year of the shadow, the reconciliation of who we are, the full integrity of our personhood.
To me, it sounds like it's about like loving yourself and accepting yourself wholeheartedly.
Yes, self-acceptance. It's a children's allegory about fear. Children's story about self-acceptance, loving yourself, accepting yourself, and learning. The process of learning. You don't like it at first, it's uncomfortable, and then you get over it, and then you've grown. I want the kids to grow with the book, be their favorite book in their growing library, and they come back and go, oh, that's why I like this book so much. Please log on to keakabook.com, keakabook.com.